Okay, let's get serious here for a moment. Did you see the New York Times last week where they just admitted that Mohammed Karzai's brothers, the head opium dealer, opium production's up over 12 times since we liberated it, and that our CIA is basically protecting the opium? I heard BBC 3 months ago admit that, but to have the government just going, yeah, we grow the opium, we're going to put you in prison if we catch you with it.
I did see that, and I found it incredibly fascinating how little it was talked about. Like, you know, like, again, let's bring up Watergate. Watergate was someone spying on someone. This is the United States government is paying the brother of the president of Afghanistan. The CIA is involved. They grow 93% of the world's heroin. The CIA has a long history of being accused of selling drugs. All that together is like, wow.
They've been caught. They've been caught.
They've been caught with a plane that crashed recently in Mexico at 4 tons of cocaine on it.
Pure cocaine, CIA aircraft.
I've been to Guantanamo Bay on at least one separate occasion. I think 2 occasions, right?
Yeah, well, it was flying people all over the world to torture sites.
Yeah, it was a CIA plane, and it had 4 tons of cocaine in it, and you hear nothing.
Pure cocaine coming from the source.
That's way crazier than Watergate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we put it all into perspective. That is incredible.
Well, that's why they went after Nixon for a small thing that didn't touch other elites. That's why they went after Clinton for a woman in the White House, because that's a little corruption they can burn them for that doesn't affect all the other.
It's amazing how that works. It's
so what's your, I mean, how can we not decriminalize drugs when Europe's done it and it's made drug abuse go way down? We know prohibition of alcohol tripled alcoholism. No, we know the drugs are kept illegal because the big CIA banks are laundering the money.
Well, it's that too, and it's also that the politicians. I mean, that's like the big idea, you know, the giant version of it. The smaller version of it is that politicians get into office because they support these gigantic businesses that give them millions of dollars to fund their campaigns. You know, people that don't think that they're going to be in bed with these companies and that they're going to make decisions based on these companies. You're crazy. These guys are not going to give politicians millions and millions of dollars towards their campaigns if there's not something in it for them. And the something in it for them is they make things illegal that can interfere with their business. And natural things are the biggest one, because you can't put a patent on marijuana. So the idea is that if you made marijuana legal, it would literally bankrupt the pharmaceutical industry, because over 100 different things that we have pills for, you could just have pot for, and people could grow it in their backyard. That's the short answer. That's the much more likely scenario.
Absolutely. And the half $1 trillion of opium money out of Afghanistan every year is laundered and leveraged up to $5 trillion. And so, of course, they can't decriminalize it because they are laundering the money. Yeah. And the only drug dealers they bust are the people who are cowboys and operate outside of the system. I just wonder how the police feel busting teenagers with drugs.
Cops are just doing their job. You know, that's the problem with cops, is you have douchebags just like you have douchebags that work at Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, there's just going to be a certain percentage of the population are going to be idiots. Like, there's a guy recently who arrested a 15-year-old girl for taking photographs of her vajayjay and sending them to all the boys in class. They arrested this young girl for child pornography. They brought her to jail. And because of public outrage, they had to drop the case, and they charged her with 1 count of possession of criminal tools.
No, they do that all the time. 16-year-old girls show their breast and send it to their friends, and they might need to get in a little trouble from their parents, but certainly not arrested as a child pornographer.
Right. Well, those cops are dummies, you know, and it's like, you know, you're going to have that in all walks of life. You're going to have a certain...
I agree, but they're dummies with authority, with a corrupt system that protects them.
Well, where's the story about the 4 tons of cocaine? Where is that? Why is that not in the news? Why are they not talking about it?
It was in Reuters, but nowhere in U.S. media.
And they dropped it like that. See ya. Nothing. Zero.
Listen, I see reports. There was an AP report of an 18-wheeler in South Texas with more than 4 tons of pure cocaine. The state police busted it. The FBI showed up, took it, and said, we're not telling you whose it is.
I believe it. You know, that whole, what was his name? Gary Webb, the guy who was involved in the Mena, Arkansas.
And they killed him,
boy.
They
killed that guy. That guy was flying cocaine back and forth from other countries to America for years.
Well, he reported on the guy they killed, Yeah. Bunch of guys they killed.
Yeah, and he was about to narc. They had him. He was on his way to the courthouse. He had George Bush's phone number in his pocket when he was assassinated. Hi.
Yeah, that was one of the pilots, and then Webb reported on that, so they killed him.
Yeah. Barry Seals, right? That was
Barry Seal.
Barry Seals, and then Webb as well.
No, I mean, they kill people that talk about this.
Guy, what do you think about him? He's the guy that
I don't agree with his politics, but his info on CIA cocaine's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all rock solid. That guy busted people. He busted people, was told to let it go. because the CIA was selling drugs. I mean, that's the big accusation, was that the CIA was...
Well, he had a CIA girlfriend who was sitting there guiding the aircraft into New Orleans as they were... Yeah, that's the story he told. Just all sorts of wild stuff.
It's all crazy. It's amazing how little attention gets paid to this and how much attention gets paid to Balloon Boy and all these other stupid distractions. I mean, gay marriage. You think that anybody in government really cares about gay marriage? I mean, is that really an issue? It's a giant distraction.
Well, they do have those political football issues that are never going to be resolved.
They're beach balls. They just toss them out into the crowd for a big distraction. You know, like the economy's imploding. Why are we at war? Why are we at war? Oh, gay marriage. Poof.
Oh, no, bird flu. Bird flu.
Whatever it is. Anything.
Swine flu.
Yeah. It's amazing how obvious it is. And that is also one of the reasons why drugs are illegal. One of the reasons why drugs are illegal isn't just the economic factor of it. It's the social implications of giving people things that change your consciousness, giving people something that resets your consciousness and allows...
Because the government wants a corner on that to use TV and culture to do the programming. Well, they don't want you programming yourself.
And those don't...
And they want their Ritalin and their Prozac that they know is deadly.
Well, they also know they don't bring you unique ideas. Those things make you sedate, and they make you accept your situation, and they make you calm. What the drugs that the government is more afraid of are the drugs that aren't. It's not like money drugs. Like there's a lot of money to be made.
They're scared of hallucinogens.
How much? Yeah, how much money is there to be made in mushrooms? I mean, is there anybody got a mushroom?
No, because it can grow everywhere.
Yeah, but how come? Why? I mean, how come they have cocaine empires? And you ever watch like Cocaine Cowboys? And there's no mushroom empires. There's no.
That's because cocaine is geographically limited to one area. It's a perfect monopoly drug. So out of the thousands of drugs, it's cocaine and heroin the CIA controls that is all over our streets.
Yeah, that really probably is why it's so expensive. Because if you look at it, I mean, the making it illegal is what makes it valuable.
By the way, the head of the DEA, his name is Rob Bonner, who's a friend of mine throughout the first George Bush administration, documented that yes, the CIA was involved with the importation of a fair amount of cocaine with regard to the Iran-Contra, etc. But it just has to happen because of the money.
We understand what you're saying. A ton of cocaine was smuggled into the United States of America.
Well,
in cooperation with the CIA?
That's exactly what appears to have happened.
Well, there was drug trafficking by the CIA during the Vietnam War.
Yes, that's been documented in a book
has been written
Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia, with documents. I mean, documented with government documents they got that conclusively proved and stated that the CIA was. The way it started is they were working with Montagnards who had, up in Thailand mostly, but also in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, who had made their living traditionally by growing heroin and shipping it out. And so the CIA had its air forces flying planes back and forth, and Montagnard allies would be flying down to the capital, and they would want to get on the planes with these suitcases full of heroin. And the CIA, some CIA officers were trying to kick them off, but, these were your allies. You needed them. So the CIA was making decisions to let them ride. And then it got to the point where, and by that I'm making decisions up the chain of command, then it got to the point where they were actually flying special flights, DC-3 flights, to carry the heroin down to the capital as favors for the allies and also to sort of help finance the whole operation.
Did you watch the Iran-Contra hearings?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
Portions of it.
I watched it for a few days.
I watched a lot of it. My husband was addicted to it.
I watched very little of it.
But I did follow it very closely, yes.
Do you think they're telling the truth?
No, not really.
Not the whole truth.
I think they're under oath, so I think they're telling the truth.
They couldn't remember. They all had lobotomies. Then nobody could remember anything. You talk about senility. Holy cow.
They were lying about most everything.
There is a lot more to the story, but whether or not we'll ever find out about it is another question.